Hi everyone, welcome. I'm just going to be presenting my learning and assessment plan for music. It's going to be a little bit of a combined, fused plan that's bringing together and including EAL, elements of the EAL lap, as well as a music lap, and the overarching project is based around poverty and poverty awareness. And as we know, the school that we're focusing around here is Playford International College. And I'll just bring up my PowerPoint. So it's going to be sort of entitled Poverty Breaking the Cycle, Raising Awareness. And just a tiny bit of background is, it's a big issue. There's 3 million Australians living below the poverty line, and more than 730,000 of those are children under 15. And so what we're going to be doing in the lab, the main core exercise is creating a podcast. You will be interacting with local community groups like Anglicare and raising students' awareness. And the idea is to create a music radio type podcast information about music that relates to poverty, and have students create perhaps raps and things that they are going to engage with, and there'll be some literacy type exercise about responding to the different types of musical works. And I just wanted to remind us all of some of the attributes we're trying to build in our students from our own website here. We've got lifelong learning, resilience and optimism, and these are competencies that we're trying to build in our students. As it says here on the site, emerging productive global citizens. I'm going to be addressing through this some of the capabilities within the SACE. We've got literacy, writing scripts for the podcast. There's going to be reading and gathering information. There'll be a little bit of numeracy, looking at statistics and stuff behind poverty. We're going to be embracing creative and critical thinking, thinking about the message that they're sending, what they want to say. They're going to be creating and sharing music to share their stories. We're going to be fostering intercultural understanding. And as we know, that part of the makeup of the school here, we've got a lot of EAL. Around 20% of the school is made up from EAL learners, and there's an Indigenous population of around 10% of the school. So we'll be encouraging them to share their backgrounds and engage in this project. There's also going to be information and communications technology. By creating podcasts, we'll be looking at sharing that kind of thing out on social networks and sound release platforms such as SoundCloud. We're going to be developing personal and social capabilities. They're going to be required to work collaboratively. Little technical hitch there. And in terms of social justice, we're going to be embedding literacy through engaging pedagogy for support of EAL music students. We're going to be supporting the literacy demands of the subject music, utilising styles of music that engage students and encourage them to raise local issues and have their own voices heard. And I also want to be raising the awareness that students, that education has the power to shape their lives and break the overall cycle of poverty. And a big part of the capabilities that I'm looking at developing is developing their viewpoint. And Martin Westall, the the current SACE CEO. He's talked a lot about different types of capabilities and how we define students in terms of what they've learnt through these development of these capabilities. And so we're going to be taking disciplinary action, encouraging them to take action to a specific discipline. Interdisciplinary action. We're also going to be trying to incorporate EAL students in as part of this. They're going to be developing lifelong skills, collaboration, listening skills. They're going to be learning to respond and negotiate, all very valuable capabilities. And ultimately, we're looking at learning by doing, which is something that Dewey was a big pioneer of getting kids and communities doing things to learn through their doing. And as Nussbaum has famously said, we're going to be looking at producing decent world citizens who can understand the global problems. So we're looking at this problem of poverty and what can be done about it, and how it affects this low socioeconomic community that they're part of. And another particular thing I'm looking at developing is this critical democratic agency. As Biest has said, emancipating students from the existing world so as to foster their own critical democratic agency. And another thing that I'm really looking at is developing their interpretive schema. And I just want to read a couple of notes that I made from Down and Chow's. When a young person experiences difficulties in life, the personal defects are often blamed. Things like lack of aspiration, laziness, low literacy, poor behaviour, dysfunctional families, rather than the systemic forces shaping the school. So, and the consequences of this here is that the real cause of the injustice is hidden, which ultimately is things like poverty, unemployment, housing issues, health, and that the public discourse also dominates victim blaming, from which the root causes are absent. So when mainstream schools are not working, the students can tend to blame themselves and then deny this interpretive schema to better understand or explain and develop their viewpoint of this injustice. So through this lab, we'll be looking at developing a clear picture of the situation, and showing that what's needed is a school system where everybody is included. So the capabilities I'm looking at developing through this lab, which also tie back into the mission statement from the school's website, is resilience, passion, free thinking, global citizenship, optimism, lifelong learning. And there's some further resources here that I've just put together with relating to poverty, and I've also put up my own little website about poverty and taking action through poverty. And yeah, I think will be a great engaging project for the students to participate in. Thanks for listening. Have a great day.